guys, and welcome to another episode of 31 Nights of Horror. Today we've got Dan and we've got James with us. He's back for another review. And today we are reviewing the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dan, do you want to tell us what it's all about?
Not particularly.
If they don't know already.
Alright, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is about a group of kids who seem to be going across the country to go and see, I think it's their granddad or something that's dead. They pick up a hitchhiker who's a bit weird and he starts cutting himself and then cutting the people. So they kick him out. And then they stumble across a petrol station who tell them the directions towards this house. They go to this house, they stumble on another house near this house. There's lots of houses in this place.
Yeah, me too.
And two people get murdered straight away by someone called Leatherface. One gets smashed over the head with a sledgehammer, the other one gets hooked up. And then one of the boyfriends of the girl goes looking for the two ones that have already been killed and ends up getting just sledgehammered in the face. And so
So that's so blasé.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the girl and her brother, who's in a wheelchair, are the only ones left. They go looking for these other kids, and the guy in the wheelchair gets chainsawed before the girl gets chased for fucking ever, and then ends up going to dinner with this family. They have some weird tastes, and then she manages to get away, and the end of the film is Leatherface throwing a tantrum with a chainsaw while the girl gets away.
He's dancing.
They're cannibals, by the way.
He's throwing a tantrum.
He's dancing.
That's the reason they're chopping everyone up.
Yeah, they're cannibals.
As you can tell by Dan's enthusiastic and invigorating description of this film, you really, really did not enjoy this, did you, Dan?
This is the best film on the list.
Do you not think it aged okay? Or
No, I think this film's awful. I thought this film was awful the first time I saw it, and I thought it's even more awful now.
I
hate
enjoyed
this
it
film.
the first time I saw it. I thought there was
I think
a lot
it's
of bad
terrible.
stuff in it.
I don't like any of the characters in it. Leatherface is just some hairless Dune thing. What's the name of those things that are in Star Wars?
This is really bad. I should know this. But
No,
the
The Wookiees.
What you mean?
No.
The Tauntauns? What they
They're
ride
Tauntauns.
on planet
Tatooine, isn't
on
it?
planet
No.
Hoth.
Hoth, yeah.
Yeah,
The ones that
Tauntauns.
attack Anakin.
Oh
and-
no, they're called
The ones that attack Anakin and R2-D2 and C-3PO before Obi-Wan turns up and saves them for the first time.
No, okay, on Tatooine, you mean Tusken Raiders or Sand People?
Sand people, that's it.
Tusken
Ah.
Raiders.
He's basically one of them because all he does is go "Arr, arr," during the whole film, and oh god, how did this film manage to make so much money? We spent 10 minutes of Leatherface chasing that woman through the woods.
She had the worst scream.
She screamed for
In fact, she
3/4 of
screamed
the
for no
fucking
reason, did
film.
She screamed for no reason, and then when she's actually in a room and she's confronted by two dead people, she actually stopped screaming. I was a bit like, get your priorities right now.
God, it was just so boring. The only good bit I liked about this film was the hook death. And even that you don't really see much.
For me, that hook death is. I'll talk about the film and how I feel in a minute. The hook death is one of the most, in my mind, I can't think of the word. It's just the most. When I think of a horror film, I think of that murder.
Iconic.
Yeah, that's the word, iconic. Yeah, I think of that, and it's fantastic because it's just such a brutal way to die, isn't
It's not
One
very
of them
nice,
works in
though.
a slaughterhouse, didn't they?
it?
No, I don't think they do work in a
Yeah,
slaughterhouse.
their
They
fam-
just
their
live
fam-
in it, don't they?
Their family, no, you know Grandpa, the old guy that was sucking on Sally's finger,
Yeah.
the blood, he used to be the best slaughterer at the
Oh,
slaughterhouse.
okay.
That's where the family all come
That's
from.
why he said that he should chop her
Yeah.
up.
That's why he tries when because they're in the scene when they're eating dinner. They talk about Sally being killed and they want Grandpa to knock her out with a sledgehammer because there's a whole lot of the film. Obviously, it's tied in with obviously there's a slight comic feel to the film, which when you watch number 2, they expand more on the comedy side of the film. But again, for me, what I love about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was I haven't watched this film in about 7 years, and it was always one of my favourite films, along with The Hills Have Eyes. And I love them horror films that have the feeling of desolation and isolation, and it just feels like there is no hope and there's no escape for them. And that's what I like about them sort of films, and that's what I like about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The story to the film I love. I think it's a really simple game. For me, it's just meat and potatoes. What you need, you have your main protagonist, you have your main antagonist, and that's Leatherface, and you've got the kids.
But you didn't like any of the protagonists, especially that fucking guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah, but for me, Leatherface. I know you don't like Leatherface, but for me, Leatherface is I think one of the more interesting serial killers that for me anyway, personally, just as a serial killer, serial killer. I'm killing that word. But for me, Leatherface is one of my favourites, and I just love the character from the family. The Sawyers are basically inbred as fuck, and they're cannibals. They're an inbred cannibal family, and obviously through inbreeding and genetics, the kids, which is Leatherface and his brother. What's the brother's name? He's the hitchhiker. I think he's
just called the hitchhiker.
No, he's got a name. It's Nadia or something like that. But they're basically inbred, and they've basically like become. I'm not very PC, but they're retarded. Or they're not right. Leatherface. I think when I remember reading about the film, I remember the guy that played it. Remember the guy with the cool name was Gunn or whatever his name is. That's the guy that played Leatherface. He spent I think like a week in a special needs hospital somewhere with kids to learn what the character Leatherface, because obviously Leatherface has got learning disabilities, so that's the PC term, has got learning disabilities, and he's obviously been brought up with the family. He's the killer, but the character Leatherface, it goes a little bit deeper, but it's very still plain. The character's got 3 masks. This is what I like about the character. When Leatherface is doing his work and he's killing people, he's got the killing mask on. When he's like preparing bodies and cooking and killing people, because we pretty much missed all kinds of film here. But he's obviously, like we were talking about, there's the brother as well, but talking about Leatherface, he's got the old lady mask, which is what he wears when he's being domesticated around the house. And then when he's eating with the family in bits and pieces, he's got the pretty lady mask, which he wears. And you'll see these different masks in the film when he's dressed up, which is just basically going back to an old southern thing, like it was like in South Texas, where everybody, everyone's got to be what they are. So I mean, it is what it is. I enjoy this film, but like for me, apart from the film is about Leatherface and it is about his family, and the whole franchise Texas Chainsaw Massacre is about that. I like Leatherface. This film, though, for the concept of the story, I'm glad they did a remake. Wasn't too hot on the remake though, but it still hasn't stood up very well. And what you were saying about Sally earlier, the two characters, I think it's Pam and Sally, man. They got that, what's the woman's name? Shirley Duvall heat from me, man. Shirley Duvall. I freaking hate her, man. And I hate them 2 women as well. The constant screaming.
Yeah.
And I know this is probably a really, really bad thing, but the favourite kill in this film is when, what's his name? The guy in the wheelchair.
Franklin.
When Franklin gets killed, man, it's fantastic. Because I hate him, he's one little bastard because he's in a wheelchair. And that wheelchair gets made too much of a fuss of in the film. Yes, the guy's disabled, I don't give a fuck, he's an annoying prick.
Oh, he doesn't stop asking questions.
He
just goes on and on and on.
He knew where he was going on a trip, and
It's just horrible. It's so much of this film, nothing happens at all. You got like half hour, well it felt like half hour, of that hitchhiker in the van, and he wasn't doing anything.
But do you not think that having that nothingness adds to the films when something does happen?
Yeah.
No, because it's
you're turning it back to, remember when we read The Shining?
Yeah.
And there's nothing going on.
Yeah, but that was different, wasn't it? Because that was psychological. That was meant to be the breakdown of these characters.
Then don't you think this adds to the nothingness of the situation? You are out in the middle of nowhere, so nothing's going to happen. It's just waiting for something to happen.
No, because like when you normally watch a film, you have the problem. You have the problem, Then you have the middle bit where the characters are as down as they're going to get. And then at the end, you got the solution, okay? The way this film goes is they're driving, hitchhiker's the problem, yeah? And then they break down. Well, they don't break down, they stop and then the keys are gone.
They stop at the house and they go exploring.
Then they're at their lowest point when is it Sally? The main girl.
The blonde one.
Yeah,
Sally.
Sally. Yeah, she suddenly meets this whole family and goes to dinner. And then the solution is she jumps into the back of someone's car and gets away. That's literally it, isn't it? It jumps from they're getting killed by Leatherface to suddenly there's a family out of nowhere. They just literally turn up, you know, to her getting away.
Yeah, but they're meant to be like redneck, like cannibal hicks that are living there.
But they're not. You don't get a hint of that though, do you? Because when she goes into the house, you have like that meat locker which Leatherface is hiding in. Then all of a sudden she's running away. She goes to the truck stop, isn't it, or whatever?
The gas station.
Gas station.
Where the guy that owns the gas station, he's actually the brother, but he's another member of the family, which we don't know. He's the one that he's actually a cook, and he takes the meat that Leatherface kills and turns it into barbecues and cheese.
So this guy is literally waiting at his petrol station. I mean, they've been like, they were waiting for ages. It went from light to dark, so they must have been waiting hours. What the fuck was the guy doing at the petrol station? And then, when they kidnapped Sally and dragged her back to the house, all of a sudden this hitchhiker turns up. Where the fuck's he been for hours? You know?
Telling us the family, I suppose.
You know,
the thing is, the film does have really, I mean, yeah, from being younger and watching it, you go, oh, it's really cool. You think about the chainsaw, you think about the killings. But now when you watch it back,
only one person gets killed
years,
by a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Hence it being called. It's been called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One person.
But the film has got too many continuity problems and all kinds of plot holes everywhere.
Oh, it's just
all kinds.
And
but
like
I think what's affected that film is they recorded that film and I think it was like $250,000 budget or something.
No, it's less than that.
Was it less than that?
Yeah, I read it was like 80 grand.
Fuck. It was really low.
And it was during like a really hot summer.
Yeah,
in Texas.
and they did it all Texas, and all the actors were sourced locally from Texas as well. Like you said, it was all done such a small budget, and also they were doing like I think they recorded the film like 5 weeks, and they were doing 7-day weeks, obviously to keep the cost down recording. So I think there is an when you sit back and watch a film and watch it from an outside point of view, and not with the killings, and you watch it for what it is, and you don't get drawn into it. You do realise this is quite a rush film, but as the same as a lot of films, they've gained that cult sort of following.
I don't know how. I think it's more Leatherface is such a memorable character that's
people, exactly what it is.
People don't remember Texas; they remember Leatherface.
That's what it is. Yeah. The as I said a minute ago, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, the whole franchise is Leatherface.
Yeah.
It's all Leatherface.
Yeah. If he wasn't in it, and you took away the fact that it's Texas, it would be The Hills of Ice. Exactly the same film. I think, because they're stranded, there's a weird, fucked up family, they're very inbred. It's very, very similar.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from. I mean, films
but that was because Hills of Ice was a Texas Chainsaw.
Was inspired really heavily. Yeah. But I think The Hills of Ice has a better storyline than Texas Chainsaw.
I think they've both got bad storylines. It's just basically we're stranded and these people are trying to kill us. It's a basic storyline. I mean, I would say that other than the Hook death, as much as I hated that Sally character, by the end, she looked genuinely proper frightening.
No, she was fucked up.
Like,
remember that shot where she's in the basement and she's just looking at her like, she's all fucked up, and it's like, oh man, that's some scared bitch.
That was some good bit. But then, other than that, it was just. And she just would not stop screaming.
No, that was
the whole film.
I like the first.
I don't think she's that good an actor. I think a lot of that screaming was made up.
Back then, it would have been what they looked like, really. It'd be look like a scream queen.
None
so
of them
get it. I like the scene in the back of the van because you get this hitchhiker and they're all watching. And somehow they get this atmosphere, so I was just being drawn along with it. But they're all sat there watching this hitchhiker in the back of the van, and he's a bit weird, and they're all a bit sort of cautious of him, and then he just pulls out a knife and they're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? And then when he cuts his hand open, and starts like getting all excited over it. It's just like they've stopped proper freaking out. I like that bit. I don't know why. It's got nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
Because you do realise that's when you got to get that film goes. The whole film is just. I still can't put my finger on it. I still don't know how the best way to describe it. It just has a real sense of impending doom.
I think so.
What, my attention span? I just found this film so boring.
It did have one of the most iconic. You said about the most iconic moment for you. One of the most iconic moments in, cinema history as well as horror history, is when Leatherface at the end is so. I think you said that he was angry. No, you said he was angry, and you said he was dancing all the way around.
No, he dances. He is angry,
He's
but
swinging his
for me,
chainsaw.
It's a tantrum.
yeah, he throws a tantrum, but it just seems to me. When I've watched the film, I was like, man, that motherfucker is dancing with that chainsaw. He's swinging his bitch around like that, and then he's got it on his hand. He's like pirouetting around. I'm like, he's dancing. That motherfucker is doing some dancing. He's practicing his ballet skills.
Who knows when he now has got someone to come along and get chopped up, and he's actually just got a lot more meat. Like he's probably got another month or 2 or even 3's worth of meat now in his freezer. And it was that really horrible moment when he accidentally falls over, or he gets knocked back actually with a wrench, and then he accidentally knocks the chainsaw against his leg, and you see the fat come out of his leg, and it was disgusting.
That's a horrible bit. But guys, do you not think like that? There's something really childlike about Leatherface.
Yeah,
Really
definitely.
childlike.
He hasn't got the.
Yeah, he's a child.
Mentality.
He's just been no, cause, but it's
Well,
kind
you
of
could tell that anyway because he was getting told off, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For breaking the door, he was getting slapped.
it's like he's just like well, obviously where he's learned speed, but he's like given a great big 6'5", 6-year-old chainsaw.
Yeah.
No, you would chop with it. It's the whole what is it? A kid with a magnifying glass thing, isn't it? She's
The
more
ant.
violent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's freaking really good.
He likes to choose when he's chopping stuff up though. I mean, when he's chasing Sally around the woods and she's somehow gone into branches, you know, if only he had something that could chop up branches.
Ever could he
what
use?
could you use? What could he use? Having a chainsaw in his hand. Fucking
Pruning
stupid.
shears.
Yeah, plot hole, major plot hole. This film really
And
does.
how long was that chase sequence? It
That
was
was too
so
long.
long.
Maybe if it had better music, it would have kept you sort of interested. 'cause
And what was that
music's
truck
all
driver? He was useless, man. And also that chainsaw. Remember when Leatherface was like cutting the door like near the end? Well, this guy straight through him, motherfucker.
I felt really sorry for that truck driver because he stopped to help her, and then next thing we know, he's jumped out of the side and he's being chased.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with this.
No, what
And
the-
suddenly-
he's like this guy. Like, what the fuck's
Because
going
he's a
on
bit
here, man?
lardy, he can't run away.
Lardy.
And Leatherface took longer to get through that what looked like a thin wood front door
Ooh.
than Jack did in The Shining
That's
with
true,
an
yeah.
axe.
And a thick pine door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just everything just seemed to be buffer.
Yeah. This film hasn't stood up. Leatherface is iconic, but the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't stand well in 2013.
Rating.
For me, because of how I feel about the film growing up, I still give it 5 out of 10.
5. Okay.
You think I was going to go higher?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's 5 out of 10. The film doesn't stand well. It's just, I still have good nostalgic memories of this film. And it is what it is. It's a horror film. And there's no jump. There's only one jump bit where Leatherface jumps out. So
That's when he gets the wheelchair going.
yeah, so that's the bit that I like.
That's not really a jumpy bit. That's just a thank God.
Bit. Well, it is what it is, man. But yeah, 5 out of 10 from me.
What's your rating?
I think for just the fact that it is so iconic and it has such a cult following, I'm going to go for 7, which isn't amazing, but also I think it's quite respectful, considering it doesn't have.
over here.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, because you sort of like give
Yeah, you're right.
slightly higher reviews
Because of
for
respect.
people. Yeah, you're too nice to sort of go. This film shit.
It's got to be horrible. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go on then, Simon Cowell.
This
Come on.
film's got a 2 out of 10.
I would say 1.
No,
2.
because the only redeeming qualities are that hook death and the way she looks really wildly scared at the end of the film.
That
That's
is
the
good.
only.
She like Harry.
Also, from just throwing this up, there's one point in the film as well when Leatherface first, when he's like freaking out, 'cause he's killed 3 people, and he's sort of standing at the window looking to see if anyone else comes. Like, who else is here? Who else is here? Again, it's for me, Leatherface is quite innocent. Even though he's like a mass murderer, he's very innocent. And he's sort of looking through the window. He's like, "Who are these people?" And then he's sort of sat down, and there's a shot of his face. He just looks completely fucking confused and scared. It's like, man. There's that obviously, and then the scene with Sally where she's looking pretty fun. Two facial expressions, and I've said before, there's no word spoke, but has a look ever said more words? I'll fuck that completely up, but it is what it is.
I think.
So you know what I mean.
I think when a character in the film is more famous than the film, you've got problems. Like,
yeah.
when you think of Friday, you think of Jason, hence it being terrible. But when you think of Nightmare, you know, I mean, you do think of Freddy, but you can also think of Johnny Depp's death.
What about Halloween?
Halloween, you do. Well, I'd say Jamie Lee Curtis is more famous than Michael. And you know,
Michael is my favourite serial killer.
Yeah. Oh, well, someone might want to be here later down the list.
Bye.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think you have problems when the only really huge redeeming quality is the main villain. You know, I mean, even Star Wars, you could sort of say Darth Vader, like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and that. This you can just say Leatherface. And
that's what you've got to stick Texas Chainsaw Massacre now.
Yeah, I just.
He's like a really dumbed down hillbilly, like Hannibal Lecter.
I just think this film.
Yeah.
I don't know many cannibal films, unless they're Cannibal Holocaust, but I mean, like, there aren't.
Well, I didn't even like the extent of their cannibalism was they had heads and arms around.
They had sausages.
But we didn't. We were told they were meant to be human sausages, weren't we?
They are, because
I wanted to see
if you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 without watching the first one, it's going to be no sense. Watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, you get more story and you get a bit more laugh, but the film's awful still. Yeah, that's not good. Don't watch that either. I'll tell you what the best thing to do, right, is watch like a 30-second tribute, or like a couple of like a tribute video, like with like movie clips of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and just see the key highlights of this film, and then watch this film, and just keep this its reputation and its iconicism. Is that a word?
iconic status.
Yeah, iconic status left intact. Don't watch the film.
Okay, I think that sums up Texas. So that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Obviously, I wasn't a fan. These two were.
I wasn't a fan.
Less forgiving.
Yeah, but
I'm still a fan, but it is what it is. It's the same as a lot of films. Like,
what's the next film, Dan?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, right. So Texas is done. So the next film we're going to delve slightly further back. We're going to go back to Hitchcock, and we are going to do The Birds. We're going to do The Birds tomorrow.
All kinds of good films.
So hopefully I enjoy it a bit more.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it would be nice to actually enjoy some of these films.
I've enjoyed quite a lot of these films.
Yeah, not the last few.
You enjoyed Human Centipede, didn't you?
Oh
wait, I enjoyed watching your review of that shit. That was funny.
I know a few people did.
Yeah, we're going all meta now. Yeah.
Little kinds.
But yeah, so you might as well watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. These two liked it, so
see why we didn't like it. See why we did like it, and give us your opinions at the bottom.
Yeah, below the sofa. Is that what you always say?
Yeah.
Yeah. And join us for.
And make sure you keep watching Behind the Sofa. And one thing I did want to bring up was, if you hear someone coming up to you with a chainsaw, right, and you're running away from someone, normally a serial killer is going to come to you and sneak and kill you, isn't he?
Yeah.
When you've got someone with a chainsaw going, like, down the road, you're like, well, he looks pretty angry and he makes a lot of freaking noise. I'm running away from this motherfucker. You ain't going to be very good as a killer.
Yeah, but then because he's going, you're not taking them seriously because you're thinking of the sound. You're like, what's that sound? That sounds like Star Wars.
Yeah.
You wet yourself probably, and then.
I really wish I hadn't watched this film tonight.
Someone's gonna have nightmares.
It's been a long time since I've seen Texas, and it's stayed in my mind as a good film from when I was younger. But now
I am happy to ruin it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the video,
And we'll see you tomorrow.
we will see you tomorrow for The Birds.
Bye.
See ya.